Long before Latin names and lab codes, communities treated earth-given plants not as drugs but as blessings. These were entheogens, to bring the divine within. Their purpose wasn't to hack the brain or escape pain, but to remember the soul and face what hurts. In indigenous frameworks, health equals sign harmony, a weave of body, spirit, land, sun, community. Pain can be a call that a thread has snapped. Plants, if approached correctly, help you listen. An entheogen is a gate, inward and outward. Western science might call the effects hallucinations. Traditional cultures call them visions, messages with bone-deep meaning. Peyote, for example, is harvested and taken in prayer, not for a high, but for guidance. Ayahuasca isn't a product, it's a being. Without ceremony, songs, and elders, you may hear a voice yet miss the words. What heals is not just the molecule, but the way, intention, container, community. In a peyote meeting, you sit from dusk to dawn. No screens, just prayers, a heartbeat drum, and the bitter cactus. You don't trip, you come home to a felt memory of who you were and might become. Every gate has risks, hence the role of shamans and gatekeepers who hold the space and help you return. The plants open the door. People and protocols ensure you walk through safely. In the end, the question isn't will you take the plant, but will you listen and honor? And after the vision, can you carry its truth into your life, not just your mind? Chapter 2. Body, Spirit, Community. The Indigenous Paradigm. Entheogens like peyote, ayahuasca, or datura are not the cure themselves. They are the path toward it. In indigenous tradition, the plant alone is never enough. Its power is tied to context, ceremony, and community. Health is understood as harmony between body and soul, emotions and spirit, the individual and the land. Illness is not seen as a defect, but as a sign of broken relationships with self, family, ancestors, or place. When balance is lost, the whole system suffers. This is why entheogens are not psychedelics. They are not taken for sensation, but as tools of balance. In ceremony, there is no patient and healer, only a circle. The prayer, the drum, the altar, the sacred foods, all are part of the medicine. The plant lifts what was hidden, not to overwhelm, but to help you face it. While Western medicine isolates symptoms, indigenous practice seeks to restore connection. The entheogen works not only in the body, but in the field of relationships. Visions are not chemical illusions, but signs that the threads are being rewoven. The plant is the key, but without intention, guidance, and respect, the door stays closed or opens into danger. Healing comes when the person returns to themselves, to their people, to the harmony that holds them. Across the Americas, 5 sacred plants stand as pillars of indigenous medicine: peyote, psilocybin mushrooms, datura, salvia divinorum, and ayahuasca. Each has unique chemistry and ritual use, yet all serve as teachers, guiding mind and spirit toward transformation. Peyote, sacrament of identity and healing. Peyote is more than a cactus. It is survival, identity, and resistance. For over 5,700 years, it has been used for prophecy, healing, and communion. In the 19th century, as native traditions faced erasure, peyote became a shield of cultural survival, spreading through tribes like the Kiowa, Navajo, and Comanche. With the creation of the Native American Church in 1918, peyote gained formal recognition, blending indigenous practice with Christian elements. The ceremony, held from sunset to sunrise, centers on fire, song, prayer, and community. Peyote is consumed as buttons or tea, accompanied by the water drum and gourd rattle. Healing lies not only in mescaline, but in ritual. The fire kept alive, the songs uniting tribes, the foods shared at dawn. For many, peyote restores balance, treats wounds of body and spirit, and keeps alive memory and identity. It is not escape, it is presence, a way of remembering who you are. Psilocybin mushrooms, the flesh of the gods. Psilocybin mushrooms, Psilocybe spp, called by the Aztecs Teotlnanacatl, the flesh of the gods, have been used for over 3,000 years in Mesoamerica. Archaeology reveals carved mushroom stones. Colonial reports describe ceremonies of song, dance, and visions, sacred use. For the Aztecs, Mixtecs, and Maya, mushrooms were eaten with honey, cacao, or pulque after fasting. Shamans and nobles sought revelations before battles for healing or to confirm myths. The visions were collective truths, not hallucinations, showing gods, animals, ancestors, and cosmic forces. Suppression and survival. The Spanish banned mushroom rites, branding them devil's work. Yet traditions survived underground, preserved by healers in Oaxaca. In 1955, Maria Sabina shared the ceremony with R. Gordon Wasson, sparking global awareness and the later isolation of psilocybin. But exploitation brought suffering to her and her community, healing and ceremony. In indigenous practice, mushrooms are used with prayer, song, and ritual. The healer guides visions through chants and incense, helping participants face fear, grief, and sickness. Healing is collective, woven into story and community. Modern rebirth. Today, psilocybin is studied for depression, PTSD, and anxiety. But indigenous wisdom reminds us, without ceremony, mushrooms are only substances. Within tradition, they remain sacred allies, the voice of the earth, the flesh of the gods. Salvia divinorum, the sage of the diviners. High in the misty mountains of Oaxaca grows Salvia divinorum, the sage of the diviners. For the Mazatec people, it is not a drug, but a sacred ally. The broad green leaves were chewed slowly at night, guided by a healer in silence and prayer. Salvia was used for divination and healing, to find the cause of illness, guide decisions, or reveal hidden truths. Its effects are abrupt and strange. The body dissolves, time bends, the self feels carried elsewhere. For the Mazatec, this was not chaos but the plant's language. In mild doses, it treated headaches, anemia, or digestive troubles. Always it was approached as a living being, the shepherdess. In the modern West, it was misused as a legal high, stripped of ritual and meaning. But in its tradition, salvia remains an oracle leaf, a bridge between worlds. Ayahuasca, the vine of the soul. Deep in the Amazon rainforest grows the vine Banisteriopsis caapi,
Please bless
combined
this
with
medicine.
DMT plants to create ayahuasca, the vine of the soul. Elders say the recipe itself was given by the plants in visions. Drunk at night in ceremonies led by shamans, ayahuasca brings purging, release, and powerful visions of animals, ancestors, and cosmic forces. The Icaros, sacred songs, guide the journey, steering fear into healing. Ayahuasca heals beyond the body. It restores harmony with community, ancestors, and the earth. The ceremony is collective. One person's purge lightens another's burden. In the 20th century, ayahuasca entered syncretic churches like Santo Daime, blending Christian and indigenous traditions, and later spread worldwide, raising questions of appropriation and ecological strain. At its core, ayahuasca is not just a brew, but a teacher, a grandmother spirit, showing not what you want to see, but what you must see. Healing comes through relationship between vine and leaf, song and spirit, human and forest. The path, the guide, and the responsibility visions are not the healing, they are invitations. What appears under sacred plants may dazzle or terrify, but without guidance and respect, the message is lost. In indigenous tradition, no one journeys alone. The shaman stands between worlds, protector of the body, interpreter of the spirit, and keeper of the ceremony's order. Before the fire is lit, preparation begins. Fasting, silence, cleansing. These acts sharpen perception and align the heart with intention. During the ceremony, songs known as Icaros weave unseen paths. They are not background music but living medicine, guiding participants through fear, memory, and revelation. Each note holds a purpose, an anchor in the storm of vision. Yet in the modern world, many walk without a guide. The result is confusion, visions mistaken for truth, messages without roots. Real healing is not the vision itself, but what follows: forgiveness, action, change. The journey's worth is measured not in what you saw, but in how you live after you return. This is where ethics begins. Sacred plants are not commodities, and rituals are not products to consume. When taken without context, ceremony becomes spectacle. The songs lose their meaning, the plants their dignity. Indigenous peoples who carried this wisdom through centuries of persecution now face new forms of exploitation. Retreats sold online, patents on their medicine, and outsiders filming what should be prayer. True respect means relationship. It means listening before speaking, asking before taking, and remembering that these plants have guardians, lineages, and histories written in blood and song. You are not the first to drink, to see, to seek. You are a guest in someone else's house. Healing, in the indigenous sense, is not a personal escape, but a return to community, to the body, to balance with the land. To walk the path is to walk with humility. The plant opens the door, the shaman holds the hand, but the way back, that is yours to walk with respect.